More often than not, I say something stupid and it makes a nice intro. But well, hi everybody who's joined in on the Secret Sauce podcast, part of Texas Day Peru. I'm Kevin Briggs. I founded and help lead Texas Day Peru, which sends teams of surgeons down to Peru every summer if we can, to do as many surgeries as we can for the poor and help as many people as we can. We change a few lives and we have a heck of a lot of fun doing it. And I've begun this podcast as my sons begin their professional lives, finding out professional tidbits and whatnot from colleagues and whatnot. But I tell you, I've been particularly excited about this particular episode because our guest tonight is he kind of models or mirrors, not models me, but he does a lot of things like I like to do. I mean, he's a passion project guy. He leans into stuff, and I really believe that passion projects can be rocket fuel for your life, and both professionally and personally. So we're going to dig into it. Please welcome. Well, actually, that's a bad thing to say in a podcast because nobody's going to. All right, I'll clap it. Any rate, our guest today is Bill Jollie. Bill, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate you joining me.
Oh, you bet, Kevin. Call me Jollie, by the way. All my friends call me Jollie. So I'm happy to be here. I love what you're doing as well. It's fantastic.
Well, I will call you Jollie, but I can't repeat what my friends call me.
Fair enough.
Terrible nickname earned on the playground in middle school, and it's awful. But anyway, well, welcome. Thank you for. I appreciate the kind words on what we're doing, and what you're doing is just tremendous. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself, so for the audience who doesn't know you?
Yeah, sure. So let's see here. I'm 53. I'm a 13-year leukemia survivor. Let's see here. 6 years Marine Corps Reserves back in the day. And got a wonderful wife, 31, 3 girls, 27, 23, and 7. I think context is a good idea. I've got a full-time job, and I've got this incredible passion project called Interrupt Hunger, nonprofit that we do on the side. Takes up most of my breath.
Oh, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Man, let's dig into that. Tell me about this.
Yeah, so Interrupt Hunger started really from me getting diagnosed with cancer, and that changed my life. I got a buddy convinced me to train with him over the summer in 2011 for my first triathlon. And because of that triathlon, I got diagnosed very early, and I say that's why it saved my life because I had swollen lymph nodes all over my body. I started. Yeah. Well, I'll back up just a second. I got out of the Marines in '97. I was in amazing shape, and then I spent the next 15 years not being in amazing shape. I didn't exercise. I ate crap, and it showed. I didn't like the way I felt. I didn't like the way I looked. So my buddy Coy invited me to train with him for this triathlon is just what I needed. I was 39 at the time. The girls were 10 and 14. And my largest lymph node right smack in the middle of my chest, 4.5 centimeters. Lymph nodes are supposed to be less than a centimeter. So this is 4.5 times, right? It's pressing against my airway, caused a wheeze. And I'm on a run with Coy. He's like, damn, Jollie, I didn't know you had asthma. And that's how I got diagnosed. Crazy, right?
Wow.
Nobody ever gets diagnosed training for a triathlon, but it saved my life. And because of the obstruction, I got diagnosed Pearl Harbor Day, which is fitting, December 7th. And it's just like anytime you hear the words you have cancer, it's profound. But
sure,
I'm 39 years old. The girls are 10 and 14 at the time. I actually lost my dad from a brain tumor, 1979. He's 39 years old. I was 7. My brother's 14. So it's kind of freaky, right?
Yeah.
So we started 6 rounds of traditional chemotherapy like 5 weeks later. First or second week of January, I think I started. And so like, this is not a good time in my life. I'm in the infusion chair, literally watching poison drip into my veins, which is the chemotherapy, right?
Yeah.
And I was just really down on myself and just, I was so upset that I let myself get in this position. Like, behaviors don't always cause your cancer. Sometimes it's completely out of control. But behaviors, life, the way you lead your life certainly increases or decreases your chances for getting cancer. Yeah. And so I'm like, why did I let myself get like this? And I feel it hit me. It wasn't just me. I had several people around me in my inner circle that had a major health scare
Mm-hmm.
and changed their life for the better.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, man, there's got to be something besides fear to drive us to change our life. And it hit me sitting in that infusion chair, watching chemotherapy, watching poison drip into my veins. Like, what's the most powerful force in the universe? It's love.
Yeah.
So what if we could take love and compassion for our most vulnerable neighbors who are struggling with food insecurity, who are hungry? What if we could fuel that to motivate us to take care of ourselves? And the idea for Interrupt Hunger and our very first program, a Donate Your Weight program, was formed in that infusion chair. So let's celebrate our weight loss victories. Donate $1 for every pound you lose to help fight hunger, and proceeds, 100% of proceeds benefit a local food pantry. So you're
Mm-hmm.
literally helping to feed your hungry neighbors. And it started off with a weight loss program, and I've learned a ton in the last 13 years. And with this incredible podcast, we can talk about it in a little bit. But
Uh-huh.
it is so much more about health now and the behaviors that we want to help teach you instead
Mm-hmm.
of just weight loss. So
Yeah.
what we're focused on now is really 4 things. It's teaching people to cook, teaching people to garden, making exercise fun, and building community. And then the thing is, like, our bodies were not built to lose weight. So asking somebody to lose weight on their own,
It's an unnatural act.
show you can't do it. If you
Yeah.
have 20% body weight or more to lose, trying to do it on your own, studies show you have a 95% chance of failing on your
Yeah.
own. So let's bring these healthy behaviors to elementary schools, high schools, our places of work, places of worship. And then the next step in this progression was my brother-in-law, who has a very successful podcast, convinced me to start our own Interrupt Hungers, the nonprofit. Our motto is Move, Eat, Give. And
Uh-huh.
so that's the name of the podcast. We started that April of 24. Best decision I ever made. So if anybody listening is thinking about starting a podcast, you're just starting your journey, Kevin. It is open doors to the most incredible people. I've learned so much in the last year and a half. That's
Mm-hmm.
just, it's crazy. But I started learning about all these really neat, healthy community initiatives.
Mm-hmm.
And I live in Bernie. We're 45 minutes outside of San Antonio in the beautiful
Right.
Texas Steel Country, prettiest part of the state. Like,
Absolutely.
what if we brought all these healthy initiatives to Bernie, try to make Bernie the healthiest small town in Texas? And man, we are doing some really neat stuff. We're just at the beginning stages, but with the new school year picking up, we've got a lot of cool things in the works. So
That's
that's where we are.
that's exciting to hear. And you're exactly right. Even just at the beginning of what I'm doing, I've had some really interesting conversations that are going to be published soon. But and going back to beginning with Texas Day Peru, I think I knew 3 of the people over the 300 that have volunteered over the years. When we first started this,
Oh, wow.
and the friendships you make as a part of it, and the relationships that happen, and it's just incredible. I find myself missing the people that I haven't yet met that are going to be a part of it next year, as an example. But
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, I love that.
yeah, so the podcast is awfully interesting to me, and I'm going to ask you a question here in a second. What's your secret sauce? That you would pass on to our kids and other folks that are needing a bit of information, or people like me who are terribly slow learners. Um, you know, but I'm so fascinated by the podcast. What made you get? I mean, you said your brother mentioned that, but are there some healthy tidbits that you can share with folks like me that are just starting on that?
This is yeah, so it's been fantastic. So Move, Eat, Give is the podcast. We host experts in exercise as medicine, food
Uh-huh.
as medicine, and food insecurity. And so we've had people who are at the absolute top of their field in culinary medicine.
Yeah.
We've had people literally write the guidelines, like the best in the world. Because I'm a cancer survivor, trying to get cancer survivors to exercise.
Yeah.
is a passion of mine. We've had three of the top experts that have literally created the field and written the guidelines. I'm taking little bits and pieces of all of these,
Yeah.
and trying to keep it as simple and pragmatic as possible. That's the message, because you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't tell the story the right way with emotion
Yep.
and passion and data, it's not going to come across. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So we talk about like regenerative farming to school gardens and how to use lifestyle medicine to reduce heart disease and cancer and all kind of stuff in between. It's just it's fascinating. I'll tell you. So like think about the state of America and Western democracy right now.
Uh-huh.
So in America we've got eight. I'll throw just quick stats. 8 out of 10 of leading causes of death in America are due to poor nutrition.
Yeah.
So, and I'll also say that technology has made us sedentary
Mm-hmm.
and made us isolated.
Yes.
So the other part of that, the other half of that, is this ultra processed food environment that is
Yes.
almost impossible to escape. Even if you have means, even if you're educated, it's still really, really hard.
It takes an effort to escape it.
It absolutely does. You can do it for about a week, and then it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So, like, what can we do within our current environment to start making changes for us and our family? And it gets back to trying to get back to our roots and live like our ancestors did 100 years ago. Like our ancestors, the way they lived for the last 12,000 years before there was technology and ultra processed foods. And that's where we came up with the, cooking, gardening, make exercise fun, and build community. Because the last stat, three stats real quick that kind of define 73% of Americans have overweight or obesity.
Mm-hmm.
On the other end of the spectrum, the stated number is 12% of Americans are food insecure, not knowing where their next meal is going to come from. I think it's much higher than that, but let's just go with that, 1 in 8.
Sure.
And the other big number that not a lot of folks realize, CDC states 30% of Americans feel socially isolated and lonely. My daughter goes to Texas State, 41,000 students on campus. They did a similar study. They found 32% of their student body felt socially isolated and lonely. So CDC is right there. We've all got to do a tiny, tiny little part to fix these numbers, but we have to do it together.
The last stat that you gave, I mean, we really are, I think, in a loneliness epidemic right now. And social media isn't exactly helping. And we're all developing these parasocial, one-sided relationships, and they're no substitute for real relationships. Yeah. They just aren't. And even getting together online like this is nice and it's great. And it's better than not engaging with a human being, but being in actual physical contact with human beings, we're not meant to. We're a tribal species. We're not meant. I don't mean that negatively, but
no, we're social creatures.
But we're definitely a social species. We weren't engineered to be lone wolves, so to speak. What human beings accomplish that end up being great are things that we accomplish together. So yeah, I worry about that last stat, and anytime we can do something to mitigate that, I think is a good thing.
I completely agree. Yep.
Man, we've got good content from this. This has been tremendous. Is there anything that, two final questions, and, one, if you had some advice for the young, what that might be, young professionals, whatnot, or yourself that's starting over again, if you had to advise yourself. And then the second, is there anything that I should be asking you that I've left off the table?
Yeah. So, I had somebody, I think only like 3 or 4 years ago, really talk to me, give me some good advice. This is for anybody starting out or wherever you are in your career. Talking about personal branding. And I think we've all heard personal branding, right?
Yep.
But the way it was presented to me really changed the way I act. and the presence I put out online. It was fantastic. Made the simple point of you're only one person. You're not a person in your your personal life, and then a different person in your professional life. You're just one person. So when people are looking at your online presence or your activities at work or whatever you do, like make sure it's congruent. You're putting out the same story, and it really forced me to look at like what am I about? Like what am I trying to accomplish in this short time that we're on this planet? And it's a very good exercise. So take some time to figure out like what's your mission statement, right? It sounds silly, it sounds corporate speak, but if you really embrace it, it'll change not just the presence that you have online, LinkedIn or whatever, or emails, right? But it'll help direct you in decisions that you're making going forward. Little decisions and big decisions.
I think that's excellent. It really, really is, and it's something that most of us don't do. In fact, I've been one of these oppositional defiance guys. I don't want to set goals, and I don't want to do a mission statement. Mission statement, that's stupid. But it's not.
It's not. If you have the reason, if you have the reasoning behind it.
If you have the reasoning behind it, it's not. And in fact, I don't mean to make it about me for a second, but all right, I will. But putting together my speaking site, the taglines, the on that has been the hardest exercise ever. It's basically, what is it you're really about, and what is it you really do, and who do you really help? And some of it's pretty obvious, and some of it's not so obvious. But I put together a document that I just, this is what I think it is today. This is what I think it is today. This is what I think it is, and it's big. It's a big old document. But I think we're finally getting there. But you said something, and something else that's very, very true as well. Whether we like it or not, we have a brand. So take charge of it.
Well said. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. So I always forget to do this. I have to read get a quick disclosure statement out, but I'll tie it into what I just talked about. So my LinkedIn header, it says I fight cancer by day, obesity and food insecurity by night. Like that just completely embraces who I am. And if you can sum up, who is Kevin Briggs in one tiny little soundbite, it's a fantastic activity because you're like, well, who am I and what do I want to be? What do I want to accomplish? But the disclosure real quick. So I work for my day job. I work for AbbVie, but I'm here as, on my own accord, not as an employee about AbbVie. But, I put my nonprofit and my personal beliefs. I don't hold anything back online. Like what you see, if you look at my profile on LinkedIn, like that's who I am. If you look at my profile on Facebook, that's who I am.
Yeah.
And I think this will probably lead into your last question, but I've gotten really, really good at wearing like my passion on my sleeve.
Yeah.
You see some people on LinkedIn, I'm talking about LinkedIn a lot. I spend a lot of time on it, but you frequently see somebody say like, oh, I don't usually post personal stuff here. Well, why not? I don't want to know just who your professional persona is. I want to know who you are. What are you passionate about? Because the passionate stuff is what interests me.
I get tired of hearing that the Nimbus 9000 is 20% more effective.
That's it. I don't care. I don't care. Yeah. So this is neat. So I was talking to Suzanne Stone. She's the CEO of Livestrong. I think everybody knows Livestrong.
Yeah.
It was funny. The reason why I bring this up is one of my I don't know what little phrases, little stories that I've locked onto. A lot of teachers have hanging up in their classroom. The boy and the starfish. And so this neat little adage goes. So there's a bad storm. This young boy is on the beach by himself. He sees after the storm just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of starfish have washed up onto the beach, and so he's picking one up throwing it back in the ocean. Well, this old man comes up, says, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm saving starfish." And the old man says, "Well, you can't save them all." And the little kid, he leans over, picks up a starfish, throws it in the ocean, says, "No, but I saved that one." Right? Like countless classrooms around the country have that hanging up. I've seen it, and quite a few people have been aware of it.
Well, I think that's a great story, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying as far as what we're doing, doing what we can, and keeping score about it. But that, what I find is people will talk themselves out of doing something.
They do. But let me pause you for just overthink it. Let me pause you for just a second, because that's the adage. That's what we've seen hanging up. What Suzanne Stone, the CEO of Livestrong, she added what I really, really like to the end of that. She's like, as effective as that little boy was at saving that one starfish or a handful, what if he would have gone into town and told all of his friends and family and neighbors and said, "Hey, there's a ton of starfish that washed up on the beach," and got a whole bunch of people to come, and everybody just picked up a few starfish and saved
exactly.
That changed. That Suzanne's story had a profound effect on me. And the point here is, don't try to do everything on your own. Wear your passion on your sleeve. You're going to ignite people who are drawn to you. They're going to be drawn to you even more because you're talking about it, and you're going to get all these, your sphere of influence in your network, your personal relationships are just going to grow exponentially after that. So stop holding yourself back.
You are so right. You are so right. I've seen that myself, and love that story. That is excellent stuff. So, well, this is the part where I start saying goodbye and go link on this, like, smash, and all that stuff. We're really high tech around here. I've got a QR code. If I were a better technology guy, I would have it showing up on the screen, but maybe we will someday. But if anybody's interested in Texas Day Peru or anything we're doing, go to there. Jollie, please do share the links with me so I can put this in the post that we're doing down there. So if people are interested in getting involved with your organization and helping out with what you're doing, it is absolutely worthwhile. Please do that. My recommendation: find your passion project. And if you can't find one, jump on somebody else's for a while until you find your own. It's a good thing to do, and you'll love yourself for doing that. So if anybody wants to know more about, like I said, Texas Day Peru, if anybody wants to read the bestseller, We Own a Llama Suit and You Can Too. Jollie, I don't want to brag, but we've had 50 purchases of this book.
That's fantastic.
And I don't want to brag. We've got good metrics on this. We've had 3 that have almost finished reading it.
I'm excited for. Hey, you wrote a book. That's more than most people have done. That's cool as heck.
Now the nausea rate we're trying to bring down. My God, this is a waste of my time. But anyway, it's my mom wanted to hear me write a book, so I wrote a book. So, anyway, so Jollie, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. I really appreciate you doing it, and I hope we can do it again.
You bet. Yeah, this has been good. Enjoyed getting to know you, Kevin. Thanks a lot.
You too.